Well, that's pretty nice. Welcome to the reset. I picked up this couch. It's an air couch off of Amazon, less than 60 bucks. Super comfortable. The cool thing is that these seats fold out and it makes like a really big bed too. So this is going to be a game changer when I bring the kids or somebody else with me. However, I just got it, so I wanted to see how well it fit in here. This is not something that you can use in this size tent in the wintertime because the stove needs to go right here, the wood burning stove. Now I could just use the diesel heater and get away with it, and that would be nice, but I really wanted to use the wood stove on this trip, so I'll be putting this back. But during the summer months or the warmer months, spring and fall, I'll definitely be bringing this along, because this, along with the cot over there, man, it's really cozy in here, and this works out really good. It even has cup holders on it. I'll put a link in the description down below. Really liking this RBM Outdoors Panda Air medium inflatable tent. I never thought I'd see the day where I bought a bouncy house tent. But, and you know, I've said in previous videos, there's a lot on the market. This one is leaps and bounds, runs circles around all the other ones, being it's got the cotton canvas on it, the really high grade zippers. I mean, it's just every detail has been meticulously thought out, and they did an outstanding job with this tent. There is a link down below in the description, and if you use that link, you get 5% off from RBM Outdoors on this tent. I'm getting hungry. It is going on 5 o'clock, 42 degrees outside. We're going to fire up the stove, cook on the stove here in a minute. I did bring the diesel heater only because if you've ever done hot tent camping, or you know, more so if you haven't, you got to understand that you're going to get cold at night because unless you're keen to getting up every 2 hours and loading more wood into that, it's going to die out. So I like my beauty sleep and don't feel like getting up tonight multiple times. So once that dies out, I'm going to kick the diesel heater on with the remote, and that should keep me nice and warm. It smells amazing inside that tent right now. It's so hot that it's 42 degrees out here, and let's eat. Wow. Worth it. This is styling, and it's toasty. Currently 32 degrees outside Fahrenheit and 75 degrees in here. Good morning. It is 6:30 a.m. and slept like a baby last night. Man, good night's sleep. Stayed pretty toasty in here all night, but the fire had gone out at some point, and I had the diesel heater running, so no big deal. It is currently outside 29 degrees Fahrenheit outside and 65 degrees in here. That's gonna shoot up really quick now that I got the stove going. Gonna whip up some breakfast and tear it all down. Get back home and do it again next week probably. My friend Felicia, she's been on the channel before, got me this book a while back. It's called Under the Tonto Rim by a very famous author named Zane Grey. Under the Tonto Rim is right where we're at right now, actually. So where this book takes place is pretty much exactly where we're at right now. And here in Arizona. This book was written by Zane Grey in, I believe, 1920. And this is an original 1920 copy. 1926, to be exact, is when this book was published. It has a really neat paper cover that's around it that's in really good shape, but I take that off there for my adventures because I don't want to ruin it. So far, it's a pretty good book. It's not like a lot of books from this period that I read that can be a little bit difficult to read because of the writing styles back then. Mr. Grey does a really good job of not doing that. I mean, there's still some, but I mean, they spoke different back then, different words. You have to look up, and a lot of words that you know what they mean now, but they didn't necessarily mean the same thing back then. So, shout out to my friend Felicia. This is a good book. I'll be honest with you. This Dan Shell stove here kind of sucks. There's a reason why it's been discontinued, and they only had it for sale for a very short amount of time. Full disclosure, I didn't pay a dime for this stove. They gave it to me. I won it in a contest, an Instagram contest they were having on random people that were commenting on their posts for a period of a couple weeks, and they were picking people. I won it. And my friend Felicia, the one I was talking to you about earlier, that gave me the book, also won this exact same stove. This is like the second or third time I've used it, and it's just, you get what you pay for, especially in this case. The big problem here is, number one, the damper plate inside the chimney pipe doesn't match the circumference of the chimney pipe, and there's a massive gap going around, so it's not very effective. The biggest problem, though, of this stove, and it makes it actually kind of dangerous, is the sheer number of gaps that are in it. You have to really finick with the front adjuster and the damper, or else, and sometimes no matter what you do, it happens. You get wafts of smoke that start coming out of the numerous gaps around the door, the vent holes on the top. But the biggest problematic spot is this circular plate here that I think is meant for, and please comment down below, I'm not sure. I think what this is used for is like back on the more high quality stoves and on cast iron, you remove this plate, it slides or twists, and you can put a pot in there to get it closer down to the coals. The problem is that this is just stainless steel, and it's not a good quality, so it starts to warp when it gets hot, and it makes a big gap around there, and smoke comes out. It does what it's supposed to do. It heats up the tent just fine. I can cook on it just fine. But if you're in the market for a hot tent stove, this is something you don't want to skimp out on. You're going to spend a good amount of money. I mean, they range anywhere from, $400 on up to thousands of dollars. So don't go cheap when it comes to your wood stoves. You could be sorry or dead. Tis my favorite time of the day. Let's go for a walk. I gather I should probably start packing things up. I'll show you how to take this tent down, and it's pretty uneventful other than when you release that valve. You're going to see here in just a second how crazy that is, but I won't bore you with ripping everything out of the tent and putting it in the truck because that's my least favorite part. So let's get started. Okay, so we've got all of the top tie downs taken out. That's important. I usually leave the bottom stakes in. That way when it collapses, I can fold it on top of each other in a square. Then I take those bottom stakes out. But this part is crazy. When you take this off, it's quite a blow. Here we go. Here we go. And whoo, there she goes. You'll also want to make sure that all your vents on the top are closed. All of the doors are closed inside. I usually leave the bottom zipper to the door, the front door open for some of this air to get out. I'll even unzip this usually to help speed that process up. As you can see, it does a pretty good job. And now you just wait. You're going to want to wait probably a good 5 minutes for those bladders to empty out. And then we fold her up. Make sure you leave the that release valve open while you're folding this up. That way you're obviously pushing air out as you fold it. Well, that's about it for this trip. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. It was a great reset, and there's going to be plenty more to come. That said, if you liked any part of this content, it sure does go a long way. If you are cheap like me and you don't want to spend any money, that's totally fine. If you could just hit that thumbs up button down below or leave a comment about what you thought of the tent, any questions. I try my hardest to answer every single comment. However, if you're feeling extra generous and you got a few bucks to spare, you can head over to our Patreon page or become a YouTube member. On our Patreon page in particular, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it on the member part of YouTube. But if you become a Patreon member, I have been posting my trip details before the actual video. In those trip details, it lists the exact GPS coordinates of where I will be camping, when I'll be camping, the times, the dates, and if you're a member and you have that information, it goes without saying that you're also invited to join me anytime. I always welcome the company. So, yeah, I've got everything packed up, gonna head home now, and it's that time that we end our video by saying if you or someone you know is suffering from anything that's racking the noodle, that could be stress, anxiety, PTSD, postpartum, addiction, you name it. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, first and foremost, let's break the stigma. There's a lot of people out there that might be afraid or too ashamed to admit that they need to get professional help. Highly encourage it. And by all means, after you've done that, or maybe you don't need that and all you need to do is simply get outside, breathe the fresh air, see all this with your own two eyes, and explore your dirt road to reset. We'll see you on the next one.